Whether you budget monthly, whether you budget by paycheck, if you get paid once a month, if you get paid every 2 weeks, if you get paid every week, you will all be able to use this method. In this video, I will show you how to budget in 3 simple steps. This budget method will work for all budgets. Step 1, list all money available. List the dates and the amounts. So for this one, for example, let's do January. We're going to look at January expenses, and we're going to look at someone who gets paid every 2 weeks. They get paid on Fridays. So the paydays are going to be the 5th and the 19th. So they're going to get paid on the 19th and the 5th. And then this will be if there's any carryover into January. And their paycheck amounts are going to be for $1,280. And after looking over their bank statements and their budget and what they have left to pay for December, they're going to have $200 to bring over to pay for January expenses. Let's go ahead and draw a line across the top there, and then we're going to divide each of these into its own column. So the paychecks, date, and amount are going to be across the top. If you get paid 4 times a month, this is how you set up the budget. List the 4 paydays across the top of the page. Put the date and amounts for each paycheck. In this example, you'd get paid on January 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. Your take-home pay, the amount deposited to your account, is $640 each payday, and the carryover is $200. Carryover is any amount you have left from last month. Step 2, list expenses. The due date, what it is, and the amounts. So, due date, what it is, and amount. On the 1st is rent. That's going to be for $1,200. At the beginning of the month, you're also going to need food money. And you're budgeting food for the month at $300. Gasoline is going to be $150 for the month. On the 8th, the trash bill is due, and that's going to be $25. On the 10th, renter's insurance is due. That'll be $18. On the 12th, the cable and internet bill will be due, and that'll be $142. On the 13th, electric for $150. The 18th, cell phone for $92. 24th, water sewer. And this is only in even months. It's good to include the every other month expenses in every budget and just put 0 in the ones where it's not due, because then you don't forget about them when you're going from one budget to the next. 25th is a credit card. The minimum is $115. And then on the 27th, let's put the gas bill for the home. And let's say that's $50. A lot of this is necessary, and they're the most important bills. You want to make sure you have enough money for food, for transportation, because that'll get you to and from work so you can earn money. You might have a car payment or car insurance plus the gasoline. And then you also want to have shelter. So your shelter would be like your rent or your mortgage, your utilities, so electric bill, gas bill, maybe you have oil heating or solar. And then for your expenses, you would list every other thing that you have that you want to budget for and pay in January. So if there's a birthday or an anniversary, you want to budget for that as a line item. You can have just one category with all your other spending. So we'll do that. We'll put other spending. And we'll say $300. I like to list expenses in due date order. I find it easier to keep track of everything. I don't have a specific due date for food and gas. I use the money throughout the month, but they are very important, so I like to put them near the top of the expenses, right after rent or mortgage. In your budget, you can list specific dates for food and gas. You can also split it into multiple expenses. For example, you could put food with the due date of the 1st and put it at $150, and another food line due on the 16th for $150. You could do it weekly if you want. It's your budget. Do what works for you. In this example, other spending is not necessary. The money is for wants or nice-to-have items, so I put it at the bottom. And now let's total the money available. So that's going to be the 200 plus 1280 plus 1280. So 2760. And then we want to total the expenses. It's going to be 1200 plus 300 plus 150 plus 25 plus 18 plus 142 plus 150 plus 92 plus 115 plus 50 plus 300. And that is 2,542. That's total expenses. And you can see the money available is $2,760 and the total expenses is $2,542. So you're going to have enough money to cover your expenses. In this video, the total money available and total expenses are the same for both the 2 paychecks per month budget and the 4 paychecks per month budget. And you can see here that you're going to have $200 carryover plus $640 in the first paycheck plus $640 plus $640 plus $640. And that equals $2,760. And then the expenses are exactly the same as the ones that we did on the previous sheet for the 2 paychecks per month. Rent has already been paid for January, so when we budget the rent for this month, that money is actually going to go towards the February rent on February 1st. So once you list all of your expenses, you're ready to move on to step 3. Start subtracting and revise as needed. So at the beginning of the month, we're going to have a carryover of $200 from December. The first paycheck isn't until the 5th of January, so what needs to be paid before the 5th? We'll need food and gasoline at the beginning of the month. And we're going to draw a line right here because these occur after that 5th paycheck. And then the next paycheck is on the 19th. So let's draw another line dividing that. So these bills up above are all before the 19th. Then we get paid on the 19th. And then these bills fall below that. So we'd be able to use the 19th money to pay for that. So for food, we want to budget $300 for the month. If we take $100 out of this carryover, there's going to be $200 remaining that needs to be budgeted for. We can just take the $200 out right here from the paycheck on the 5th, and then it'll be 0. For gas, we'll take 100 out of the carryover, 150 minus 100, that's $50 is remaining, and we can take $50 out of the 1/5 paycheck. And you can divide this up any way you want. Some of it you can take from the 119 paycheck. It's your budget. You get to choose how you want to do it. So this $200 has been fully accounted for. 0 left. Now on the 5th, we get paid $1,280. We've taken out $200 for food, and $50 for gas. That leaves us with $1,030. So our next bills will be the trash, and then renter's insurance, and then our cable internet bill, and then our electric, and then our cell phone, and then let's see how much money we have left. So if we start with $1,280, we take out the 200, take out the 50, 25, minus 18, minus 142, minus 150, minus 92. There's still $603 left. There's nothing due here, so we can take out 115. And then we can take out 50. And then we can take out 300. And that would leave us with 138. Let's double check that math. 1280 minus 200 minus 50 minus 25 minus 18 minus 142 minus 150 minus 92 minus 115 minus 50 minus 300 equals $138. So there's $138 remaining from this January 5th paycheck that we haven't accounted for. And all of these are down to zero. We wanted to budget $25 and we're taking $25 out. So 25 minus 25 is 0, 18 minus 18 is 0, and so on. So everything is budgeted for except for the rent. And if you want, you can put this 138 and put minus 138 right here and then put whatever is going to be remaining. But I decide I just want to put the full amount one time. So if rent is $1,200 and I'm taking $1,200 out of the 19th paycheck, there would be 0 remaining. And if we have the 1,280 and we subtract the 1,200 for the rent, there would be $80 remaining. And it's your budget, so you get to decide what you want to do. 138 plus 80 equals, so there's 218. And I'm going to carry that over to pay February expenses. And that's how to budget in 3 steps. Now let's get back to the 4 paychecks per month budget. Earlier we said the total money available is the same in this budget as it was in the 2 paychecks per month budget, a total of $2,760. And the expenses are all identical also to that previous 2 paycheck budget. So what we want to do is draw lines for the divisions of the paychecks. So the first paycheck is on the 4th. What bills come before the 4th and what ones come after the 4th? We want the food and gasoline at the beginning of the month. Trash is due on the 8th. So if we get paid on the 4th, we're going to draw our line across here. These expenses all occur after the 4th of January, so we can use that January 4th paycheck to pay for any of these expenses. And the next paycheck we get is on the 11th. So we have an expense on the 10th. Here would be a paycheck on the 11th. And then another expense on the 12th. Then we get paid again on the 18th. So here's the 13th. We get paid on the 18th. If we get paid on the 18th, we may be able to use that money to pay the cell phone bill. It depends what time we get paid and if there's time for our check to clear before the cell phone bill gets paid. Or if we have to pay in cash, if we have time to cash our check and then pay the cell phone bill that same day. If our check won't clear in time, we'll just pay the cell phone bill on the 18th from the payday on the 11th. And then the last payday of the month is on the 25th. And this is the same situation as we had with the cell phone bill. You get paid on the same day the bill is due. So depending on the timing of things, you may or may not be able to use the money on the 25th to pay that bill that's due on the 25th. You may have to use money from an earlier paycheck to pay this bill on the 25th. And note that you are budgeting rent to be able to pay it on February 1st. All other expenses are to be paid in January. The rent has already been paid for January using money from December. So the first thing we need to pay for this month or account for in our budget is going to be food and gasoline. On this 4 paycheck per month budget, this person decides that they want to budget an equal amount for food every week and an equal amount of gas for every week. So if it's $300 total for the food for the month and you divide that by 4, it comes out to $75. So each week they want to put $75 towards food. And then if we subtract across, our whole budget was $300 for food for the month, minus 75, minus 75, minus 75, minus 75. And then our food is accounted for in the budget from all of those 4 paychecks. So there would be 0 left to budget. Gasoline, we're budgeting $150 per month. If we want to divide that by 4 paychecks, $150 divided by 4, it's $37.50. We'll round to even dollars. So we'll put $38 the first week, $37 the second week, $38 the third week, and $37 the fourth week. You start with $150. You subtract 38, subtract 37, subtract 38, and subtract 37. It comes out to $0 remaining to be budgeted or to account for the gas. Because this person gets paid so often, they just take food and gas out of every single paycheck. If you wanted to, you could take some of the money out of the carryover amount. Again, the carryover is the amount we had left over from our previous month. So we need to decide where to put this $200 carryover. The rent is not going to be due till February 1st, so that can come out of the last 2 paychecks. We've accounted for all the food and gasoline that we're going to have as expenses this month. The next bills that would be due would be on the 8th, the trash bill of $25, and renter's insurance, it would be due on the 10th. Out of the carryover, we can take out $25 to pay this trash bill. We can take out $18 to pay the renter's insurance bill. Let's see where that leaves us. The carryover is $200. If we pay $25 and then $18, that leaves us with $157. So we can pay this full cable internet bill of $142, and that leaves us with $15. And I am just going to put that $15 down at the bottom as remaining. And that's $15 that's remaining from the $200 carryover. If you want, you can put that $15 towards another bill, or you can just leave it at the bottom. Whatever you want to do, it's your budget, whatever works best for you. The trash bill is $25, and we're accounting for the full $25 from the carryover. So we have 0 remaining to budget for the trash. For renter's insurance, we've accounted for the full $18, so there's 0 left to budget. In the cable internet bill, we've accounted for the full $142 that we want to budget for the month. So that's $0 left that we have to budget for. The next item we need to account for would be our electric bill. So if we use $150 from this paycheck on the 4th, that would mean we would have 0 left to budget for. And if we start with $640, and we take out $75 for food, and then $38 for gasoline, and then use $150 to pay for the electric bill, we still have $377 left from this paycheck on the 4th. So we can pay $92 from the cell phone, and 92 minus 92, there would be 0 remaining. And then we have $285 left. Now maybe you want to use some of this other spending money. Maybe you want to put the full $285 left. If you have $300 budgeted for the month and you use $285 from the paycheck on the 4th, 300 minus 285 equals $15. So there's $15 you still need to account for in your budget if you want to be able to have a full $300 to spend. And let's double check this math right here. 640 is the paycheck amount, minus 75 minus 38 minus 150 minus 92 minus 285, and that's 0 remaining. If you notice, there's $15 remaining left to budget for this other spending category, but you also have $15 remaining from your carryover. So you could apply this $15 to this other spending category. Then you would be at the full $300 that you wanted to budget for. All right, so we've accounted for all of our food and gas, our trash and rent, cable, internet, electric, cell phone. There's nothing due for the water bill. So we have a credit card payment. So let's subtract $115 from this paycheck on the 11th. Let's take out $50 for our gas bill for the home. And then $115 minus $115 is 0 remaining to budget in that category. $50 minus $50 is 0 remaining to budget in that category. And then let's just pull the $15 for our other spending from this paycheck. So we had the $15 remaining to budget for, minus $15, 0 left to budget for. And then how much do we have left in that paycheck? If the paycheck is $640, minus 75, minus 37, minus 115, minus 50, minus 15 equals 348. And I decide I wanted to put this money up here, the $348. So then this would then be 0 remaining from that paycheck. My rent is $1,200. And then I'm gonna use $348 from this paycheck on the 11th. I would have $852 that I still need to budget for so I can pay my rent on time. So on the 18th, I get paid $640. I'm taking $75 out for food, $38 out for gas. That leaves me with $527. So I can put $527 towards my rent. And then if I had $852 left after the 11th paycheck, and I'm paying $527 from the 18th paycheck, that leaves me with $325. And then I can just use $325 from this paycheck on the 25th. Let's double check the rent calculations. If we want to have $1,200, and here we're providing $348 from the 11th paycheck, and then here we're providing $527 from the 18th paycheck. We still have $325, and we subtract $325 because that's what we're providing from the 25th paycheck, and that gives us 0. And then this paycheck on the 18th, do we have any money left over? Let's check that math. 640 is what we start with. We're going to put $527 towards the rent. We're going to put $75 towards food and $38 towards gasoline. So there's 0 remaining. And if we start with $640 and we subtract $325 and $75 and $37, we end up with $203 remaining from this paycheck. And all of our categories have been budgeted for. We've done the rent, the food, the gas, the trash, the renter's insurance, cable, internet, electric, cell phone, the water, sewer. There is nothing due this month. We've accounted for the credit card, the gas for the home, and our other spending. And at this point, you have this $203 from the paycheck on the 25th and this $15 from your carryover. So 203 plus 15, there's still $218. And it's your budget. You get to decide what you want to do. You can carry it over into the next month. You can use it for something else that you haven't yet budgeted for. You can pay more on your credit card. You can take this money and save it, or you can invest it. It's whatever you want to do. It's your budget. And when you plan your budget ahead, you can add in and account for expenses that occur once a year or twice a year. Maybe you pay your car insurance twice a year. You can put aside money for that. You can put aside money for a vacation you want to plan. You can put aside money to save or invest. And then when you get a raise or you get a bonus or a tax refund, you can decide where you want your money to go. And as you get more money and invest more, you'll be well on your way to becoming a millionaire, one budget at a time. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Until next time, remember, you can become a millionaire, one budget at a time.